Here I am at St. Herman's Monastery near Platina, California, surrounded by trees, gangly oaks, thick carpeting the rolling mountains for as far as I can see. It's so quiet. We're so far from any cities, any busy roads, and the silence is total. It's beautiful. My question for myself, oh, there's deer up there. My question for myself is, how does one set a proper intention, proper expectation for a monastery? Why does one retreat, especially if one doesn't live here? What should I expect? What should I expect to do, to feel, to learn, to take away, to give? I will be pondering these things for the next 4 days. Right, so mid-afternoon. It's very hot. This sort of retreat experience is very different than what I grew up with. And the labor aspect of it, I grew up going to really pretty retreat centers, which granted, this is a very pretty center also, but the emphasis that I'm winded from walking up and down hills. It's great. Yeah, here it's hot. The dress code keeps our bodies covered. You know, buildings aren't really air conditioned. So it really invites a different relationship with your physical senses and with your body, and a different relationship with comfort seeking. And for me, it's bringing to mind how much effort I really put into being comfortable and being clean and being cozy and having everything just pristine and proper. And in a way, like, those sensory things become my masters in a way. So here's an environment where I'm put in a more physically rigorous place. In a sensory way, it's more difficult to be here. And in that way, to continue functioning, I have to have a different master, in a sense, be mastered by my spirit rather than my body, or through exercising the spirit, master my body. Not to hate it or to torture it, but just to be driven by something different. It's interesting. And granted, I haven't even been here a day, but I'm starting to realize, it's not actually killing me to be like hot and sweaty and dusty. I mean, granted, I'm excited for a shower later, but your body doesn't actually die when it doesn't get everything it wants. Back home, I'm always rushing. My reality is phone calls and texts and emails and deadlines and paperwork and money details and more money details. And I can fall into the trap of thinking that is reality, that is all that there is to life, or that those are the most important things. Granted, they are urgent, but that's different. And here, up in the mountains, in the wilderness, amongst the trees, at night, under this gorgeous canopy of so many stars, far from the cities, far from the noise, far even from like a main road, I'm in the quiet, and I'm in the up top perspective, and I'm in a holy place where people pray, where people seek the presence of God, where people cultivate the inner life. And there's perspective here on who people are, on what the spiritual world is, on perspective on history, and God is here. I mean, God is everywhere, but there's a clarity of who God is here in this place where he's actively sought and where other distractions are sheared away. There's a way that here is where I encounter actual reality, the hyper reality, the true real things, in the way that when you're tuning a guitar string, sometimes you need to switch it way out of tune in order to come back and find the proper note. I come away here to get a sense of what is actually real, so that I can take that back to the busy world. And that is why we need retreat. the monastery definitely invites a different relationship with the body. There's not really a time or a place to exercise, which is my normal way of movement, stretching, pull-ups, swimming, and my body misses the movement, but there is a way still to still be moving, to still be physically rigorous, whether it's walking up and down hills, doing work movements, work in the kitchen, work in the yards, standing at vigil. There's ways that you still get to challenge the body, but not in the flashy ways, not in the ways that make you pretty, but in the ways that make you strong. There's also a way that our eating schedule is different. We eat really well here, nice big fun meals, but at a different schedule, at a schedule according to the services, not just whenever our appetites want snacks. And so it's just another layer of thinking about myself and being aware of how often do I reach for snacks whenever I want to, versus how often do I push myself to wait, even just a little bit. And again, the idea is that I'm not torturing the body. And in fact, there's a way I could feel strong and clean being here, although it's got its discomforts. I think the idea is that the body isn't the master. The body doesn't have to be. And when the body is lovingly mastered by the spirit, for spiritual gain, there's a great deal of health and strength that goes with that. I suspect there's a danger in these monastic experiences held by lay people. That being to seek the experience for experience sake. This was a trap for me in younger years, seeking the feels, the thrills, the all-powerful insights, the life-changing moments, seeking the transcendent connections with others, always looking outside of me for some source of insight, clarity, inspiration, wholeness. And I discovered that when I am in that mode, I miss the Lord Jesus. I miss the calm. I miss the struggle. Seeking the singular experiences can cause me to miss out on the daily struggle, the routine, the ongoing. So these peak experiences, such as a pilgrimage, may only have real long-term value for me as a layperson as part of a repeated pattern. If I visit the monasteries as a practice, as part of a cycle, and I exist in relation to the monastery both before and after, in preparing for it and reflecting back on it, it becomes part of my life when I know that I will again return, maybe even more often. In this way, I get to develop a long-term relationship with the place, with the people, and organize my year or quarter or month or week around a set time in a holy place. This may be how to turn the peak experience into the practice, and through the practice, truly change.